You know, every month I promise myself that next month will be a smaller haul. Never happens, does it? Hi everyone, my name is Chloe, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here today. Today's video is my March book haul. I had to think about what month it was then because I have been meaning to film this video for about a week and I'm so used to the fact that it's April now that I keep forgetting that I still need to haul the books for March. But yes, I've got very behind on filming, although this is going to go up on the 9th of April, so it's not that far in. But anyway, let's stop rambling. Let's just talk about the books that I hauled this month. That's what you're here for. You know what these types of videos are. I will not be giving too good of a synopsis for a lot of these because I like to go into books not knowing too much about them. So yeah, not going to tell you too much about these books. I'm just going to tell you that I'm really excited to read them. Although actually, the first book that I have to haul this month, I have actually already read. So the first book that I got in the month of March was The Atlas Six by Olivia Blake. This is the standard edition. This is the first copy that I got of this book. Keep your eyes peeled to next month's haul for further copies, or well, further copy actually, I only got one of them. But yes, this is the standard edition. This is one that I've actually read. But actually I do want to point out that to say it's standard, there is some beautiful artwork in here in every edition. As far as I know, that beautiful artwork is in there, so still some fun things about it. This one I have read. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. It is about a bunch of magicians, 6 of them to be precise, who get chosen to join this secret society all around the Library of Alexandria. And basically they have to get through this 2-year initiation, and if they get through that, then they can become guardians of the Library of Alexandria and all of its magical secrets that it holds. But the thing is that 6 of them enter the secret society, but only 5 of them get to stay. And throughout this, you're trying to figure out why it's only 5 of them, how the 5 of them are picked, and you never quite know who to trust with it. And I really enjoyed this book. Like I said, if you want to see my full thoughts on it, please go and watch my wrap up or my vlog where I talked about this. But yes, this is the first book that I got this month. The next 2 books that I bought during a little self-care trip down to London. I just really wanted to go to the theatre, so I took myself down for the weekend, went to see Cinderella, did a bit of book shopping. Only a little bit actually. I went in quite a few bookshops, but I only actually bought 2 books. They were both in foils. The first one being Alatsaway by Darcy Little Badger. This one I honestly do not know the story of, but I know that Kayla from Books and Lala really loves this book, and I've had it on my radar for a while, and it's the first time I've ever actually seen it in a shop. So I thought, while I'm here, I want to buy something, I might as well buy this. So let's read the synopsis actually. It says, imagine an America very similar to our own. It's got homework, best friends and pistachio ice cream. There are some differences. This America has been shaped dramatically by the magic monsters, knowledge and legends of its peoples, those indigenous and those not. Some of those forces are charmingly everyday, like the ability to make an orb of light appear or travel across the world through rings of fungi. But other forces are less charming and should never see the light of day. Alatsaway lives in this slightly stranger America. She can raise the ghosts of dead animals, a skill passed down through generations of her Lipan Apache family. Her beloved cousin has just been murdered in a town that wants no prying eyes, but she is going to do more than pry. The picture-perfect facade of Willoughby masks gruesome secrets, and she will rely on her wits, skills and friends to tear off the mask and protect her family. So yeah, I believe that this is actually Own Voices. I believe that it does say in the back actually that yes, she is an enrolled member of the Lipan Apache tribe of Texas. And I also really love the illustrations on the cover of this book. It actually says illustrations by Rowena Kai, so I'm assuming there's more illustrations throughout this. And yeah, I'm just excited to read this. It's not necessarily something I would have picked up, very rare, had I not heard good reviews about it. But like I said, I do know that Kayla from Books and Lala really loved this one, and that's why I've had my eye on it for a while, so excited to try it at some point. Now the other book that I bought on that shopping trip is one that I've kind of had on my eye on for a while, but wasn't really sure if I wanted to read it or not. But I have bought it for a thing that I cannot tell you about yet, but it is These Witches Don't Burn by Isabel Sterling. Basically, this is going to fit into some reading plans in a couple of months' time, so I thought I'd pick it up. It's a YA witchy story, that's all I know. I'm not going to read you this whole synopsis of this one, but I think I have seen other people like this one. I think it's Becca Fowle who I've seen enjoy this book, so yeah, I am not necessarily expecting like amazing things from it, but I am excited to read it nonetheless. And yeah, it, like I said, fits into some reading plans, so thought I'd pick it up while I saw it in a shop. Next up, we have copy 1 of this book, because there will be 2 of them by the end of this video. This one is Gallant by V. Schwab, and one that I've already read. I got the arc of this one. I read it back in February. I have talked about this in multiple videos, but this tells the story of Olivia Pryor, who grows up as an orphan, and then one day she gets a letter from a mysterious uncle that she's never heard of, inviting her to the House of Gallant, which is her old ancestral home. And when she gets there, spooky things start happening. I'm not going to tell you too much else, but you can see on here there are 2 houses. There is sort of regular Gallant, and then there's this slightly creepy looking one at the bottom. That tells you a little bit more about the story, but I think it's one of those where it's good not knowing the complete ins and outs of it. I mean, it is really small as well, so you know, there's not that much ins and outs to find out about it, so telling you too much will spoil the majority of this book. But I really love this. I gave it 5 stars. Like I said, this is my first copy. This is the Waterstones edition, so it's got the sprayed edges with the house. Yes, it is a little bit annoying that there's that black line running through it, but it's because the pages are actually darker, so yeah, it's fine. We also have pretty end pages underneath, and this one is a signed copy as well. I did actually go meet V. Schwab this month for the event for this book. Didn't take this one to get signed because I already had it signed, obviously, but it was really interesting to hear a talk about this one. So yeah, really glad that I now have it, and really glad that I actually loved it. Next up, we have my little bit of a book shopping day in the work. Basically, I went to the theatre with my mum, went to see Dreamgirls, and before we went there, we went shopping a little bit, and I stumbled into the works because it's a little bit out of the way, so I don't tend to go in there very often, and I don't tend to see all the good book deals that they have. So while I was in there, I took full advantage of it, and I've been feeling a little bit slumpy, and I'm thinking, you know what, I kind of just want to read some romance. That is kind of what my plans are next month, because this month I have a whole TBR picked by other people, but next month I'm going to try and fit quite a lot of romance onto my TBR just to try and like get rid of the end of this slump. So while I was in there, there was loads of romance books that were on deals and things like that, and yeah, thought I would pick some up. So I ended up coming up with 5 books, I think. 3 like fluffy romances, 1 more hard hitting, and then 1 that is not a romance at all as far as I know. But yeah, let's just go through them, shall we? So starting off with the 3 fluffy romances, all on free for £5. They've still got stickers on them. First up, we've got The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. I have read some Christina Lauren books before, and I've enjoyed them all, so I thought I'd pick this one up. I believe the story is that it's like a maid of honour and a best man at a wedding, and they really don't like each other, but then the entire wedding party, apart from them, comes down with food poisoning or something like that. So the bride and groom can't go on the honeymoon, and they don't want it to go to waste, so they give it to those 2, and we're gonna guess that a romance ensues. I'm looking forward to this one. Like I said, I like Christine Lauren's writing, so we'll see. I'm happy that I have another one of theirs to read. We then have got 2 books by Rosie Danan. So we've got The Roommate and The Intimacy Experiment. I have both of these on ebook. I don't know why I've bought them physically, only that I actually prefer reading physically. But yeah, we've got The Roommate, which I feel like the title probably sums it up a little bit. I'm guessing there's a sort of forced proximity trope in here as well, which yes, I'm excited for this one, so we'll see how this goes. And then we have got The Intimacy Experiment, which I have no idea what this one is about. From what I can see on the back, it's 2 people whose job involves talking about relationships, and then they end up with a growing attraction to each other as well. I'm excited for both of these, so we'll see. Hopefully I'll be able to read them soon. Now on to slightly more hard-hitting, possibly problematic. I don't actually know, because I've not read from this author before, but I've heard many things. It is my first Colleen Hoover book. It Ends With Us. So Colleen Hoover is one of those authors that I'm feeling a little bit of FOMO because I haven't read anything by her. Like I said, I know that a lot of her books have some problematic tropes in them. I know that a lot of people don't read her books just because of some of the tropes that she uses. From what I've heard, like none of them are particularly triggers for me or anything like that, so I'm willing to give it a go. I'm just intrigued to see why everyone likes it so much. I have no idea what this one is about. It just says, sometimes the one who loves you is the one who hurts you the most. Lily hasn't always had it easy, but that's never stopped her from working hard for the life she wants. She's come a long way from the small town in Maine where she grew up. She graduated from college, moved to Boston, and started her own business. So when she feels the spark with gorgeous neurosurgeon named Ryle Kincaid, everything in Lily's life suddenly seems too good to be true. Ryle's assertive is it Ryle or Riley? I don't know. But anyway, he's assertive, stubborn, maybe even a little arrogant. He's also sensitive, brilliant, and has a total soft spot for Lily. But Ryle's complete aversion to relationships is disturbing. As questions about her new relationship overwhelm her, so do thoughts of Atlas Corrigan. Oh, good God, these names. Her first love and a link to the past she left behind. He was her kindred spirit, her protector. When Atlas suddenly reappears, everything Lily has built with Ryle is threatened. Okay, this sounds dramatic and I'm kind of here for it. We will see. I think I talked about buying this on Sprints and someone said it broke them. Is this one of the ones that's supposed to make you cry? I really know nothing about Colleen Hoover. I'm just willing to try. Well, we will see. And then the last one I picked up is because of the film coming out this year, and I wanted to read the book before the film comes out, and I know that Danny really likes this book, so I'm picking it up on her recommendation. It is Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. This one says, for years rumours of the Marsh Girl have haunted Barclay Cove, a quiet town on the North Carolina coast. So in late 1969, when handsome Chase Andrews is found dead, the locals immediately suspect Kaya Clark, the so-called Marsh Girl. But Kaya is not what they say. Sensitive and intelligent, she has survived for years alone in the marsh that she calls home, finding friends in the gulls and lessons in the sand. Then the time comes when she yearns to be loved. When two young men from town become intrigued by her wild beauty, Kaya opens herself to a new life until the unthinkable happened. I'm not gonna lie, I've been more intrigued by the film since Taylor Swift did a song for the soundtrack. But yeah, I'll be going to see the film anyway because I think my mum wants to go and see it and I'm going to go and see it with her. But I thought I should maybe try and read the book first, because if I can, I do prefer to read the book first. I don't always stick to that rule, but if I can, I try to. And then the next two that I bought, I believe I just went in Waterstones and I had a voucher, so I thought I would use some of it. The first one being Dragon Keeper by Robin Hobb. This is the first book in the Rainwild Chronicles, which I cannot tell you anything what it's about, and I'm avoiding reading the synopsis because these synopsises do tend to be a little bit spoilery. All I know is that basically this is the first book in the fourth series in The Realm of the Elderlings. This is a quartet, this one, rather than a trilogy, although I believe this one actually was originally supposed to be one book with the next one in the series, so kind of as a trilogy, just not quite. It's about dragons. Dragons have become a bigger part of this world in recent books, and from what I've heard of this, it's something to do with something gets out of hand with the dragons and this group of people are tasked with, I don't know if it's moving them somewhere or protecting them, or I don't know. I just know that it's this group of people who have to do a task involving the dragons. We will see. I'm not looking forward to this series as much as I have done the previous ones. I know that the Fitz books are always my favourite anyway. I preferred both of the Fitz trilogies to the Life Ship ones. No, that's not always a popular opinion. A lot of people love the Life Ships, but I just love Fitz. But I think my sort of level of love with these books is probably going to be Fitz, Life Ships, these. I'm not saying that I'm not going to like them, but I'm just less excited for them than the rest of the series. But we will see. And then I also went and bought a book that had been picked for me in my TBR. So if you haven't watched my TBR for this month, I will leave a link somewhere. But basically I got a bunch of friends to pick me some books to read. I asked them to pick me a book that they honestly thought I would love, and then a book that they wanted me to read regardless of if they thought I would like it. And then I played MASH to pick which of those ones I would actually read this month. The rest of them I'll be reading throughout the rest of the year. And basically this one, Gem from Bookish Gems, picked this one for me as the book that she wanted me to read. I had no idea if it was going to come up on MASH at this point, but I was just really intrigued to read it myself, so I thought while I saw it in a shop I might as well buy it because I'm going to read it at some point this year, and lo and behold it did come up for this month anyway, so it's actually really good timing that I've already bought it. And that is Big Damn Hero, which is a Firefly novel by James Lovegrove. So Firefly is one of my favourite TV shows. It's about this sort of ragtag crew on a spaceship. They previously fought in this kind of civil war in space and they were on the losing side, and now they're making their way, sort of doing odd jobs that aren't always legal to pay their way and kind of get back at the side that did win the war as well. And this, I believe, is set during the middle of the series, and Jem says it very much reads like an episode of the show, and considering we only got 14 episodes of that show, I am happy for anything more. We got 14 episodes and a film, and the film, whilst amazing, also breaks me, so I'm happy for something that is set during the show because I'm hoping it's just going to be a little bit happier. And yeah, we've got Mal and we've got Zoe on the front, who are two of my favourite characters, and if I like this I probably will be carrying on with the series because I think the next one has Jane on the front, and yes, I will read any story that is about Jane. Anyway, I'm rambling. I really need to rewatch Firefly. Next up, we have a couple of second copies of books that I got last year, the year before, but basically I got some American editions of things for different reasons actually. So the first one, just that this recently got published in America and I really like their edition, so I decided that I wanted it, and that is Loveless by Alice Oseman. How beautiful is this cover? This is actually illustrated by Alice herself, and yeah, we've got this on the back. So Loveless is my favourite Alice Oseman prose novel. Heartstopper is my favourite. We all know Heartstopper is my favourite, but Loveless is my favourite of her actual novels, and it is about a character called Georgia, this one here, and she is going to university and she's never had a crush on anybody, she's never been kissed, she's just never really felt that way about anybody, and she's not really sure why until she gets to university and meets an LGBTQ plus society, and here's the terms aromantic and asexual, and it's just kind of about her figuring out herself, to be honest. But there is also this really great ensemble cast as well. This is Pip and Rooney on the front, and we've got other characters as well, and I really love this book and I really want to reread it now that I have this beautiful copy. But yeah, I'm happy that her book seems to be now being published in the US because she's doing the covers for all the US ones. We've got I Was Born for This coming out soon, so I'm going to buy that one as well, I think, and I'm assuming she's going to have to do a copy of Radio Silence at some point, right? Because I want that one as well. I want them all. But yeah, this is my first one, so happy about that. And then this next one actually has a little bit of a story behind it, because this is not the copy that I ordered. This is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. It's the American copy. Basically, I was going to the V.E. Schwab book signing and you could get 2 books signed, one of them personalised. I wanted a copy of Addie to be personalised because it is my favourite book I have ever read, and why would I not want one of those personalised? The problem is that both of my copies of Addie have already signed, because I've got the Illumicrate edition and the 1 year anniversary edition. Both came pre-signed. So I thought, well, I've always wanted the American edition, I'll just order one. I ordered it, said it was coming from a UK seller. I had 3 weeks for it to get here. It turns out the company was in the UK, but they had warehouses all over the world, so they decided to ship it from Italy, and it took just over 3 weeks to get here. So just before the signing, I mentioned to the lovely Becca Fowl, that my copy had not arrived yet, so I was probably going to end up getting something else signed instead. And she said, well, I'm not going to be getting my American copy signed, so if you want, you can have mine and then just send me the new one when it comes. So that's what she did. So this is actually Becca's copy, although it has actually got the dust jacket from the one that I ordered, because Becca said to me when she gave me, she's like, oh, it's got some like minor shelf wear from like the edges, so you can just swap dust jackets if you want. But then when the copy that I ordered came, it had a little bit of wear like down here, so I felt bad sending that one to her, so I've swapped the dust jackets. But this is the copy that I got signed and personalised, and yeah, I'm really happy that I actually have this now, and I do really like this American copy. So the only problem is that my V.E. Schwab shelf is one of my shorter shelves and this will not fit on it, so because all of her UK editions are really short, but the American one is huge. So anyway, that's a whole different thing. I do need to figure out where to put a lot of these books after this video. Next up, we have one that actually just really surprised me and came on a day when I wasn't feeling the best and really cheered me up. So thank you to the person who sent this. This is Dragonhaven by Robin Hobb. This is the next book in the Rainbow Chronicles. So I have the first 2 ready to go now. So it had a little gift note that I'm not going to read because they've actually asked me not to share their name online. But basically it's somebody that apparently watches my channel and doesn't really comment, but wanted to send me something to say congratulations on my 1 year on BookTube. So thank you to this person. I very much appreciated it. It did really brighten up my day. I have literally no way of getting in touch with you because I don't know any of your social media handles, but this is my way of saying thank you. Thank you. I promise we are getting towards the end. We are. So the next one that I have is, I actually don't have to talk about the book too much because it is just the second copy of Gallant by V.E. Schwab. This is the Illumicrate edition. I actually really love this cover. Some people don't like it. I think some people think it's not redesigned enough, or maybe it's a little bit too minimal. I really like it. I think that the actual pattern around it works really well for the story of the book. There's something within the book that this is very reminiscent of, and I love that. And it's obviously very much in V.E. Schwab's colour scheme as well, and I really love this, and I do love the edges as well. They're a little bit off centre, but I will cope. It does actually cover the darkness on the pages better because it's a black line running through it. And then we have got the end papers, which again makes sense for the story, so I really like them. And then we've got, again, the same sort of underneath foiling. The only annoying thing about this is that it isn't signed, and it came 2 days after I got home from London, so I couldn't get it signed whilst I was there. So hopefully she does another book signing at some point and I will be able to take this copy to get this one signed. But yeah, this is Illumicrate Gallant. I don't have too much else to say about this. I've already told you about the story and how much I loved it. Okay, 2 more, and one of them's going to be really quick to talk about. So the one that I'll take a little bit longer to talk about is the latest FairyLoot book. So this is FairyLoot's March book, and it is The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axio. I love this cover. I love the cover anyway. Like, I keep seeing this in shops and having taught myself out of buying it because I knew I was getting this copy and I knew I didn't need to. But this one is a different colour scheme than the original. The original one is more blue, whereas this one's got the pink accents on it as well. But I really, really love this. I love it in both colour schemes, to be honest. And I know nothing about this. I'm not going to read you a synopsis because I don't really want to know too much about it. It just looks really beautiful. I know it is a retelling of what I believe is a Korean myth. I can check that because actually it says it in here. It says, yes, a magical feminist retelling of a classic Korean legend. I don't know too much else about it. I don't really need to know too much else about it. I am a sucker for the cover. We all know this. Speaking of, let me just show you some of the pretty stuff, because again, we all know how much I love a good pretty book. So we've got the sprayed edges, which are absolutely beautiful. We have also then got the end papers, which are different on the front and the back. It is signed by the author. And then, now I don't normally get too excited about like the undercover foiling. I don't know why. It's not normally like the thing I'm most like intrigued by. But oh my god, that is beautiful. Like, look at it. I love how it's quite catching the ring light. It is so pretty. It's like, it's so intricate. It's so pretty. I'm so excited to read this book. Again, hopefully next month. This is one that I want to get on a TBR as soon as possible. So fingers crossed. And then last but not least, although I am going to talk about it really quickly because it is just a second copy of one that I've already talked about on the channel, I finally got a finished copy of City of Brass by S.H. Chakraborty, which sounds really strange to be talking about a finished copy of a first book in a trilogy that has long since been finished now. But basically, I originally had an arc of this from a Illumicrate or FairyLoot, one or the other, many years ago when it first came out, and never got around to reading it. Finally read it last year, then bought the second and third book in this trilogy. Have read the entire trilogy now, really, really loved it, and didn't have a finished copy of the first one. But again, I had some vouchers to use. I was planning on using more of the vouchers for my TBR for this month, and then didn't actually need to use too many because a lot of the books were at the library. So I thought, while I had some vouchers, I might as well buy some books that I wouldn't necessarily think to buy otherwise, because if I'm actually having to physically spend money, I sort of don't think of buying a finished copy of one that I've had an arc for years. But if it's money that I'm not having to physically spend, then I will do. So perfect opportunity to pick this one up. I'm not going to say too much about this. It's the first one in the Daevabad trilogy. I love this series. You should all go read it. That is pretty much it. This is another month where I can't actually physically hold all the books up to do like a pretty stack of all the books that I bought. Yeah, let's just do this instead. Let's just have them at the side of me. So that is all the books that I hauled during the month of March. I would say that I'll try and buy less during April, but we are 7 days into April and I already have a small pile of books that I've got. I will say, in my defence, that I've had a lot of pre-orders and book subscription box things that have arrived in the last couple of days. And yeah, I have a problem. We're on BookTube. We all have some sort of problem related to books, don't we? But yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff down below. And I will see you guys soon with a new video. Bye.